Hello and welcome to Joyous Conversations with me, your host, Joy Makasi. This is the second episode that we're doing so far. It's going well. Yeah. So with me today is my wonderful guest, Jahan Tabrizi. Jahan, I got your name
You
right this
did,
time.
yeah. So what everyone doesn't know is that
Please.
we we had to restart because it crashed. So you missed a whole lot of great content that you'll never hear. One of which was Joy mispronouncing my name, but that's okay. We'll forgive him. We'll forgive him.
I am sorry. Most people think that the J is a Y, which is weird because my name also starts with a J, so that I'll be Joy. I never thought
Yeah, that's
about it
true.
that
That would
way.
that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no,
No, listen, man.
that doesn't make any
It's
sense.
no, not at all. Exactly. No, I mean let's be honest, man. It's been 30 years now. I'm not expecting it to let up anytime soon.
It is a what's the origin of the name, if I can ask, because I've just been wondering.
Yeah, of course. So my dad's from Azerbaijan and my mother is Scottish. So it's a bit of an interesting mix.
Ah,
But yes, so it's an Iranian name. I believe it means world.
I see. That's quite nice, man. Did not know that. Have you ever been to
Yeah,
Azerbaijan
it's
then?
an interesting one. I haven't. No. I was last. I mean, the closest I've kind of been is like we had family in Turkey and we have family in Germany, and I've met all of them when I was a youngster. But no, I haven't been over. I mean, I know that Azerbaijan's a beautiful country and it would be nice to one day visit, but yeah, I don't. I haven't had an opportunity to go really, and I don't really deal with that side of the family anymore. So yeah, it would be an interesting one for sure.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So, as I said, did you get to introduce yourself? I think I ended up just asking about your name, and you didn't fully introduce yourself.
No, that's fine. Yeah, so hi everyone. My name's Jahan. I am the guitarist in Tiberius, and I am a music industry professional, I guess. That's who I am and what I do.
Welcome to the podcast, John. We've already kind of discussed about our current song and album earlier before the crash, but if you could just tell everyone what you told me because we had a very nice conversation about that.
Yeah, so I was just saying that I've not been listening to too much heavy stuff this week. I've been sort of getting back into Childish Gambino. I'd obviously knew "Awaken My Love," which is a phenomenal album, but I hadn't really delved much deeper than that. So I stuck him on shuffle one day and came across the song "Not Going Back" on his like on the deluxe edition of Camp, and yeah, just like the lyrical content, just the way it was like performed was just like so honest and raw that I was just like, yeah, this guy's a genius. I mean, I already knew that because he's the most talented man in the world, but it's it was just really great. So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of that this week. But on the heavier side, I've been listening to Isan, his album Arctis, which has got Einar Solberg on it from Leprous. So I've been enjoying that this week as well.
That's good. I mean, you're right. It's annoying how talented that man
Oh yeah,
is.
for
It's
sure.
like, seriously, how is that even possible? And yet he just does it flawlessly.
Yeah, it's incredible.
What?
It really is. But it's nice that there's people out there. But I really hope he has like a small penis or something to make myself feel better. But there we go.
I highly doubt that, but we can hope. We can just hope. Or maybe he can't dance. We've seen him
We have
dancing.
seen him
What am I
dance. Yeah,
even
no, he's very
saying?
good at that too.
No, he's very good at that. He's also good at comedy and acting. It's like I remember somebody saying that for most actors, playing somebody like Lando Calrissian would be just the pinnacle, and for him, it's just like just another day in the office. Really, get to be
Yeah,
Lando, Simba.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how old Donald Glover is, but if he was around when those movies came out, and you told child Donald Glover you're going to play that guy one day, his mind would be blown. I mean, I'm sure anyone would be, to be honest with you. But
Oh, it will be so
oh
mind
yeah, for
blowing.
sure.
But as I was saying earlier, with Childish Gambino, the way that he works with Ludwig is just amazing because Ludwig was actually he's actually name dropped in Bonfire
Right. Okay.
because they've been working together that long. Yeah, and so it's always interesting seeing how these connections that have started from so long ago they're still there, and you have people like Ryan Coogler and Childish Gambino working with the same producer. It's always quite interesting and I really like that. With me, well, I did say that my song of the week, well, from yesterday, it was Gimme, Gimme, Gimme a Man After Midnight from ABBA because I've been doing some songwriting lessons and we were doing line repetition, and I just thought, hey, I realized that. But also, Sade, Sweetest Taboo.
Yeah,
I always go to that
that's
song.
cool.
It is just so
So
good.
you were saying you were doing songwriting lessons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you noticed that the more you learn about songwriting, just when you're listening to music, how many of these things come up, like different sort of like I don't know theories or motifs or like you know
Yeah.
ideas like repetition or call and response and stuff. I take it you've probably started noticing and analyzing songs more critically now.
Oh yeah, no, no, that's true. But like with me, I've always had, because I'm just also a massive film nerd. I follow a lot of
Yeah.
people on YouTube, so I already knew about well leitmotifs and everything else and how it ends up linking to everything. And especially with the music that we like, you end up seeing a motif coming back in the same album like 10 songs later. It's like what?
Yeah, I call that
But
riff
yeah.
economy, and it's something I'm desperately trying to work on for myself.
Explain riff economy then. I'm really interested in this term. It sounds quite nice.
Yeah, it's. I think, like, to be honest with you, if anyone's better, is going to be better at describing this with me, it'd probably be John Brown from Monuments because if you take a song like Stygian Blue, where he's got this like one specific motif that he'll like play the main riff, and then for the verse or whatever, it's the same notes up an octave, played in a different format. So or like he'll take the bass notes of a riff and leave out sort of like higher pitched notes out of it, and then basically out of that you've got like three or four riffs that make up a song, as opposed to in my brain where I make up a song that's like 97 different riffs that don't make sense together at all. So yeah, it must be really nice to be able to do that.
You see, like, funny you should mention that because I think I've seen something like that from. So in Zimbabwe, there's this genre of music called sungura, which is basically very interesting, distorted, like clanging guitars with very high treble that they end up playing, and it is kind of like that riff economy kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And I have a feeling that with, especially here in well, the UK and Europe and other places, because of the way that the music is taught, certain aspects end up being left out, whereas a lot of times in African music, I find that it's quite cyclical in nature, where very they have variations within that same realm that they're working with, just to make it much more nice and interesting, and
Yeah.
kind of just keep stuck in your brain in a way.
Hmm. I know what you mean. It's like a lot of subtlety, isn't it, within that sort of measure of music.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. That's very
no, it
cool.
is pretty good. Yeah. So we the next thing then that I'm going to ask you now is basically how did you end up into heavier music? Because it is a very interesting genre that many people struggle to get into at times. So how did this happen, if I can ask?
I'll try and tone it down from the last one because last time I rambled about this, the internet broke. So it's funny. So when I was a youngster, my mum we were like a host family for foreign language students that were coming over to learn English, and I must have been like sort of like anywhere between like sort of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think is the period of time when we done this, and I must have been about sort of like 9, maybe 10 or 11 to be fair. And we had this one French guy called Philippe come and stay with us, and he was into metal, and he let me listen to some music on his then mini disc player. So that kind of dates this whole story for you. And he let me listen to I think some Rhapsody, so power metal, and then there was some Dima Borgir, some Cradle of Filth, and some other stuff. And then I was in primary seven at school, and like sort of one of our friends had an older brother who played bass in a band, so we got into like pop punk and alternative metal and stuff. So like Linkin Park, Offspring were a big thing for me. I ended up getting like Americana on tape and just listening to that on like school trips on my Walkman. And then like Linkin Park, OPM, and like some of the new metal stuff as well, like so Papa Roach, Spine Shank and stuff. And then sort of going into high school, there was like, growing up, there was like this like under 18s nightclub for sort of alternate music. I don't know if you guys had like a similar sort of thing, but it was on from like 5 till 10 p.m., whatever, at the sort of local nightclub spot. So you would go and get high on fizzy juice and, practice kissing with other girls. And then you would, yeah, there'd be like sort of, loads of bands and stuff playing, and it was kind of cool. So there was that, and then I went sort of left school at 16 and went to music school and kind of got into like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani and kind of Dream Theater and all that. And then a few years later, I met Pedram Valiani from Frontier and Section, who lives in Edinburgh, and we were only like one or two people removed from knowing each other at the time. And then he introduced me to like sort of like Periphery and stuff, and then I got the Basic Records sampler, which had like the original Monuments demo for Admit Defeat on it. It had like Clouds Are Gathering by Circles, had No Consequence on there, Visions. I had the Arusha Accord, and all that stuff just like blew my mind because I'd heard of Sixth like a few years before that. And I didn't like it because I was obviously just not in that mindset at the time. I think I was still probably listening to like power metal or some crap, but although power metal's not crap, but yeah, it was. I was just like way too young to get it. But like second time around, when I got to listen to like Bland Street Bloom and stuff, I was like, this is so cool. I get it now. I'm in.
But no, that's good. I mean, I love it how for a lot of people, pop punk is the gateway to getting into the heavier
Yeah, for
things.
sure.
Uh, yeah, like I'm not even gonna lie. I was a massive Paramore fan back in the day.
Yeah, man.
Loved me some
Paramore are great.
Paramore. Paramore are
Yeah,
great. They have some really good songs. I mean, Misery Riot, the album is actually quite
yeah.
nice.
Like Riot is a fantastic album. It's really well written.
It is a really good
Yeah,
album. Yeah, it has bangers. It's like, yeah, no, seriously. But no. And I also love just how interesting it is, as you mentioned, well, Philippe from France, how international metal music is. I remember when I started my first year, when I was doing my undergraduate. This is back 2010, I think. I did my undergraduate at Hull University,
cool.
and then I met a guy who ended up being one of my best mates when I was at uni. Still lives around London ways. Mayank. So Mayank is from India, and he just shows up with this big Slipknot shirt, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna be friends, because metal has a very big following in India, and a lot of people are surprised about that, aren't they? Yeah,
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 it's
because we had
phenomenal.
we
Sorry.
had Project Mishram. I was gonna say that we had Project Mishram last year, didn't we, at Techfest?
Yeah, we did twice, 2 slots. It was great, man.
Twice, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Really amazing. I
We
love
had the
those
after
guys.
party
Yeah.
slot and that. Yeah, it's incredible. Like I think for a lot of people just think that like metal music and alternative music is this very Western thing, when actually there's all these like massive, like beautiful genres of metal in other countries that no one thinks about. And yeah, like you said, like the
Oh yeah,
metal scene in India is enormous.
yeah. I mean, one of the best ones that I loved was if you go on Twitter and you type Nigerian metal wedding, you see like people singing Toxicity at a wedding in Nigeria.
That's amazing.
All in their like all in their Nigerian garb, basically just going
Oh,
ham and
cool.
just headbanging and everything else. And I'm like, I am loving this. This is my version of happiness right now.
Yeah, for sure. It is.
It's just so good.
It's nice. It's nice that like sort of like yeah, like you say, like it's a universal language. Put it that way.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
no, definitely, it really is, and it's just so amazing. But before we end up phoning on metal, and then we'll just end up spending the whole night talking about this, we have other topics to
Yeah,
talk
sure.
about. So, as you've said, you're the guitarist in Tiberius. How did you get into Tiberius?
Um, I didn't really get into Tiberius so much as I started it, I
Oh,
suppose. But yeah, no, it's a funny one. Like basically, I'd left uni for a few years back before Tiberius, and I was working in a guitar shop and I was teaching guitar, but like I felt that like all the kind of cool shreddy stuff or whatever, I just basically felt that I was starting to like lose a lot of my skills as a guitar player because I wasn't using all the stuff I was using at uni. So I decided that I wanted to start a band and try and push my playing again. And I had a good friend, Chris, the other guitarist, who wanted to kind of improve his playing as well. So we kind of started writing lots of tabs. And at the time, we only lived 2 minutes away from each other. Grant and Chris lived together at the time. So the Grant, the singer, kind of started, you know, turning up in our writing sessions, giving his opinion, and we'd kind of go from there. So by that point, it was three of us, and we'd had like a few songs written, and we got a couple of other friends, Gerald on bass, who I knew from trying out for another band with a band that never really happened. And then we all just kind of knew Stuart through the Edinburgh music scene. So that was our original drummer. And yeah, so nowadays it's still the three core members of myself, Chris, and Grant, and we've got Ryan, our bass player, who I knew from going to uni. He was a year above me, and I am Nick, the drummer, who we met through Pedram again. So yeah, we kind of it's a very small place, Edinburgh, and we all kind of yeah, you're never too far removed from somebody that plays an instrument.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, no, it's really nice. It's always interesting how people in the music scene just know each other because it is that small in certain places. It's just like, oh yeah, I saw you at a gig the other day or other stuff like that, and it makes networking quite easy and just finding band members quite easy, except for drummers. Those are in high demand.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about Nick is Nick played drums through high school, and then stopped, and then went off to do a law degree at university, and then
No
yeah,
way.
and then came back and hadn't really played drums for a number of years, but moved back from Aberdeen to Edinburgh. So it was like, great, right? We've got this guy who doesn't play in any other band. Let's let's just stick with him until he's good at drums again. So we basically just made him get back into playing drums and just like whipped him into submission until he was like just practicing all the time, you know. Because he was like a big System of a Down fan like in school, and then it came to like,
Yeah.
okay, man, so if you stop playing drums at System of a Down, this is going to hurt for you. It's like, here's all these horrible concepts you might not be familiar with. Good luck.
Yeah. It's like pure baptism by fire. There's like, we know you've not been playing for a while, and this is like,
Yeah,
well, God
yeah.
mode, but good
And,
luck.
and and by the way, your first gig with us is with 12 Foot Ninja. Good luck. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, he never managed to play the 12 Foot Ninja show because his work screwed him over. But yeah, that was going to be his first show, so no pressure.
No pressure at all, dear. Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I'm almost in tears. It's just amazing. Oh, okay. So talking about Tiberius, the music video for Leviathan, I love it because it's just the whole idea of consumerism
yeah.
and what is currently happening with the world right
Uh-huh.
now. How did you guys come up with that? Because it's quite a neat idea for a music video.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's a funny one. Obviously, we released our album back in June, so we had to have our release cycle planned before that. And we'd basically finished our first music video, Swan Song, just in between Christmas and New Year, and we'd got like the final cut back, I think sometime in like late January, February. And by the time it was coming around to do the next two music videos, we were all on lockdown and we couldn't get access to the venue we'd hired out to shoot a video for it. And we were like, oh shit, right, okay, well, we can't, the train is moving. We have to release these singles. The album release date's gone to print. We need to do something. So I was, me and the guys were all thinking about how can we do things that don't involve us all being in the same room. So it was like, right, well, I said, right, okay, let's hire an animator to do one of the videos, and maybe we can find a way of doing that within budget, so it's not too expensive, and maybe we can sort of self-shot stuff with green screens. So that's what we did. We the Mechanical Messiah video, for example, is Chris in his house with some Art Attack style supplies and a green screen and a camera. And Leviathan, very much a similar kind of thing. We knew Jodie Setch from thebearandthestars.com as an animator who's friends with Chris's sister. And she done all the animation for that, done a beautiful job. And we just sort of kind of cut bits into that. And, we had, the song is more or less about, consumerism or, sort of big global tyrants of power. And it's like, well, this is a kind of an obvious kind of track to go down. Let's do it in a way that's maybe not so on the nose, or is on the nose, but a bit obscure. I don't think I've ever seen someone in a music video paying with their own skin before.
No, no,
So that's
no.
that's definitely new.
But it was new and it was really interesting, and I really liked it. And talking about just you guys being inventive with how you do stuff. Techfest at home, when you were all in the like bathrobes, I was like, that is some coordination there, lads.
Yeah. That was funny. Yeah, that was again. I think that was me again, just saying, right, guys, let's do something for this video, but let's not do the standard, playthrough video, or because I think there's far too many bands out there that take themselves way too seriously, and if you can't have fun with it, and it's music's entertainment like anything else is, and if you're just going to sit there and try and look metal or whatever, it's kind of a bit, I don't know, it's kind of a bit boring, because like we're not like that really at all ever. So to try and do that for something like that just kind of would be completely disingenuous of our performance live. So it's like, right, how do we do this in a way that's entertaining? It's maybe a little bit different, and we are all sitting at home in our pajamas or our sweatpants or whatever, and yeah, let's just try and emulate a bit of that, and try and make people smile through a bit of a really shitty time. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Uh, it was really good, and it just made me feel like we were robbed by the plague, because you guys were supposed to play with Novena, weren't you, and Azure in
Yeah, with
April.
Shattered Skies in London. Yeah, Shattered Skies and I were gonna go
Yeah.
and us were gonna go and do a 4 date tour. Yeah, yeah, that got shut down very, very last minute.
Oh yeah, no, because as if most people don't know this, but me and Jahan share a birthday. We're both born on the 10th of April, so we were actually gonna have a pre-birthday drink,
Yes,
and that was scuppered by
it
yes,
was. But
yeah,
you're a year younger than me, aren't you?
yeah,
Yeah, so you
yeah.
you haven't had the tragic experience of turning 30 while locked in your house yet.
Yeah, you say yet
Yeah,
because let's be honest, that is likely to
it is
happen.
unfortunately fairly likely to happen. Sorry, buddy.
It's fine. I'll just make a thing on Zoom and then just, we'll see. But anyway, moving on. So, you say that you ended up basically going to the first Techfest in New York. How did you find out about that then?
um, that's a good question. So I found out about Techfest actually through Pedram and his band Sectioned, his not Frontiera band basically. They were playing it one year, and I think this must have been about maybe 2015 at the time, and we would, or maybe 2014, I can't really remember, but Tiberius had started by that point, and he kind of showed me this festival and the lineup and stuff, and I was like, man, that's a lineup my band should be playing on. So that was kind of like that was kind of my target of like, right, let's how do I get on that? So I really wanted to go to I think it was the 2016 version where like, you had like Protest a Hero and like Between the Bride and Me headlining. That lineup was just stellar, and unfortunately I missed it because I was working in retail and had no money. But I we ended up kind of I made end up making friends with Simon Garrett, and we ended up playing I think Tech Habilitation in November 2017, and we got to meet a
Yeah.
lot of the usual suspects. All the kind of the usual Techfest crew and stuff were all there, and we got to meet all these really lovely people, and it was like, right, cool. Let's go to Techfest this year, and obviously that we got invited to play 2018, so that was all our first times actually being on the campus and going to the festival, and it was really great. So I ended up going as a civilian the next year. It was really cool. Really enjoyed that.
Wait a sec. I think I was actually there at the 2017 one, and I actually met
I
you
think you
there.
probably did. Like to be honest with you, it was I think people's first experience of us, and nobody really knew anybody, and so no one was really talking to us all that much. But I think I definitely remember seeing you around.
Yeah, well, I was helping out with everything else that was just happening
Yeah, for
that day,
sure.
so I was just like running around.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
probably
uh,
starting the fight during Thank You Sinist. Was that you?
no, 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 no. I unfortunately actually have to keep a job.
Well, that's fair.
So I can't be. Oh yeah, because they were having the technical difficulties, weren't they? Yeah,
Yeah, that was a real shame for them, but it is what it is. These
yeah.
things happen. I don't, they handled it well, I guess.
Oh no, they did. They handled it well, and it went quite nicely. Yeah, no, it went quite well. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, all things considered, really.
yeah, totally.
Um, yeah. So, still on the matter of TechFest, what would you say is one of your favorite TechFest experiences?
Oh, good question. Um, so one of the things I really like doing is just getting up quite early and checking out as many of the bands as I possibly can. And I always find like really cool bands that I maybe hadn't listened to before, or just like kind of things I hadn't had a chance to see yet, or maybe there's like a band that I didn't enjoy on record but really enjoyed live. But
Yeah.
but I think maybe one of the experiences for me was probably like Siamese. So the first time I heard Siamese, I wasn't really getting it.
Oh yeah.
But I gave it a few more tries, and I was kind of more into it. And then I saw them live, and it was just like an absolute party. So yeah, maybe that, or just obviously, Anders being passed out is another personal favorite of mine. But I mean, that's obviously other than the highlight of getting to play main stage. That was killer. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, I can imagine, man. I can really
that was
imagine.
like so much fun. But yeah, that aside, as a punter, definitely just being able to check out tons and tons of bands, and yeah, just getting to kind of do all that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, no, and I'm with you there, and especially with the bands that you get at Techfest, you get to see some bands grow over time, and then you see them on one stage, and then you see them when they come back and they have new material, and it just blows everyone away. Like with me, also on the vein of getting to see people that I've not heard of before. Last year on the Thursday, getting to see John Gom live was something.
Yeah, John Gom's an
I
awesome
don't have
player, man.
words.
Yeah, he's a
It is
phenomenal player.
scary.
Obviously, it was a bit of an interesting one for the sort of usual Tech Fest crowd, but I think most people
Yeah.
most people embraced it, which is kind of a nice thing with the sort of progressive music space of people, or whatever the progressive music scene, I guess, is that people are a lot more open to different styles of progressive music. I suppose when you call yourself UK Tech Fest, you can run the risk of maybe pigeonholing yourself as just being about tech metal. But I think Simon's definitely, his booking has branched out outside of that over the last few years.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And there've been some amazing acts that people were not well expecting. Again, I keep on bringing up Project Mishram, but they were just nobody was ready for that, and they blew everyone away.
Yeah, those guys are really, really talented. I really enjoy them a lot. They're really nice guys as well. Got a bit of an opportunity to talk to them after our set, and it was just really lovely, really just humble guys that are just into making music, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
And
That's all they chance.
I'm really pleased that they got such a good reception considering the distance they travelled. So that was really, really nice.
Oh yeah, no, same man. Would have so loved to see them this year.
Yeah,
Again.
it's definitely a testament to how good they were if Simon's willing to break his 2 year in a row rule for them. You
Yeah,
know,
no, that's
you
true
know,
then, man. Yeah.
there's not many bands that can say they played 3 sets at two Tech Fests.
Actually, that is true. Wow, I did not realize that. It's like, no, that is actually a record.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Wow. Huh. Think about that. Well, so now we're gonna divert a bit from the tech side and go into some other genres that, well, are non-metal. What genres that are not metal are you into that might surprise people?
I mean, I like a lot of 80s pop. So like, I like Phil Collins. I like Sting and the Police. Yeah, a bit of everything really. It's a tricky one. Like I say, I mean, we were talking about Childish Gambino a minute ago. Again, I'll be listening to quite a lot of NWA this week. A bit of MF Doom. What else? What else do I like? I don't know about anyone else, but certainly when someone asks me what music do I like, I always just like freeze up and forget about the concept of music. Like,
It's like the thing I do for a living. I kind of forget
yeah,
at
I just like
times.
forget what words are. It's like when you go into a guitar shop and try and play a guitar and just forget all of the fundamentals of music or playing guitar. It's kind of like that for me. I mean, I really like synthwave as well, which is kind of unsurprising if you're you know an adult in the current. If you play music, I think it's quite cool to like synthwave at the moment. So everyone's into that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that kind of stuff. Like I say, I like pop punk, but to be honest with you, there's very little music I won't listen to, other than Mumford and Sons. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'll give most things a shot. I love the new Lady Gaga album. Yeah, just
I need to
anything.
listen to that. Hmm. Like with me, the one that I always bring up that blows people's minds,
Yeah, for
and
sure, man.
to a certain extent, it blows my mind as well. So, I keep on bringing this up as a through line in every podcast. The whole fact that I grew up in Zimbabwe, because a lot of things sound weirder when I say it, but I'm not making this up. So, when I was growing up, basically, my mother, she would usually be playing two artists at home, Don Williams and Dolly Parton. I have no idea
Oh
how
hell yeah.
country music made it to Zimbabwe, but she is a fan. So I grew up
Oh man,
listening
you
to
cannot
Dolly
escape. You
Parton. Like,
cannot escape Dolly Parton. Dolly
you
Parton
can't.
will
She's
find you and she
everywhere.
will
She
make
is
you work 9 to 5.
literally every like May. There is just a tweet thread that's Stormzy just losing its mind at Jolene just listening to the song. And I'm like, no, she is literally everywhere. Dolly Parton is literally everywhere.
She's a queen, man. Like I fucking love Dolly Parton. There's no excuse for anyone to not love Dolly Parton. That woman is just
Did you hear
pure
that?
gold. She deserves to be protected at all costs.
Talking about that, did you hear that apparently the Moderna COVID vaccine, she ended up giving them a lot of money, and she's one of the reasons it's now being
I'm
made
not
because
surprised.
Dolly Parton is just that
I'm
good
not surprised.
as a
She
human
is a
being.
wonderful human being. I mean, at the start of lockdown, she was like doing like Facebook live streams, like reading bedtime stories to your kids. Like, she doesn't
What?
have to do that. She's like, she's an
No,
old lady who's made millions. She doesn't have to do that for you, but she did it. You know, she's like the world's granny, the world's coolest
she
granny.
literally is.
What,
No, she
what an
literally
absolute
is. Like,
sweetheart.
wow, she is just a international treasure that should be just protected
Yeah,
by all
she's up
means.
there on like David Attenborough levels of must be protected for me. You know,
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you there, man. She is just. I didn't even know about the reading like children's books and everything else.
yeah,
That's
it's very wholesome.
wow, man. I need to buy more Dolly Parton music and
You should watch the
merch.
Netflix series that she done as well. It's like something heartstrings, and it's like dramatizations of her songs, and it's superb.
Okay, I that is now going on my list of things that is never ending, but we will get there at some
Yeah, it's
point.
great.
Yeah. Oh, that's wow. I found a new appreciation for Dolly Parton that I it's just added now. It's literally just added towards everything. I'm like, you're just a gem of a
Yeah.
human being, aren't you? Yeah.
It's funny, but
Wow.
20 minutes ago we were talking about Isan, now we're talking about Dolly Parton. And this is what progressive music is like, kids.
It's like at one point we're just talking about some very weird, black metal, and then the next time Dolly Parton, we just love her. She's just amazing. It's just like, what? Yeah, no, that is literally what happened.
That's the progressive music scene for you.
It literally is, though. It literally is. But then, moving on from music now, though, I was gonna ask, what geeky thing have you been doing so far?
Geeky thing that's not music.
Yeah.
Ooh, tricky because I just started learning piano. Um, what have I been doing? I got
How are you finding the hand placements?
oh, it's
Because
hell.
I find that tricky at
It's
times. Yeah, no,
absolutely
it's just
hellish. I mean, I haven't really practiced in a few weeks because I've been too busy. But yeah, definitely very difficult. But other than that, like I don't know if it's geeky, but like I'm a really keen like baker and cook. So like I'm really into
oh
like
nice.
cooking and like baking shows and all that sort of stuff.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah, or I got a camera. I'm trying to learn how to do that, I guess. But yeah,
Oh, that's
unfortunately,
nice.
music does take up an awfully large portion of my time.
No, that's understandable there. And like going back to piano though, so I got a keyboard many years ago and I've just started recently trying to learn it. And normal people would, get an app, normal people would get an app or try to find some stuff on YouTube to do that. I'm doing that stupid rookie guitarist mistake, which is like just find a song that you like and learn that on piano.
Yeah, I did try that, and it didn't last very long. I think I was like, I wonder if I could learn the intro to Still Dre, and then I was like, no, I can't do that.
No, you see, that's even better. With
So
me, I
currently,
was like,
yeah, sorry.
no, with me, the songs that I was thinking about learning is like, you know what songs I like? The Westworld theme song. That's quite nice. No, do not do that. Rami Jawadi is just no. And then afterwards, like, you know what sounds good as well? Some of the songs from Hamilton. Okay-ish. And then Hold the Line.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Amazing
a bit of
intro.
bit of David Page, yeah, for sure, man.
It burns your hand. It's a killer on your right hand. It is literally
Yeah,
just
that constant kind of triplet thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It sounds
kind of
good. It's
it's
painful.
kind of similar to Still Dre in that sort of pattern. Yeah,
I never thought about it that way, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's but yeah, funnily enough, I actually tried to have a go at learning the chords for Africa by Toto as well. So,
Ah, yeah.
and it was like, nah, not no chance. It's yeah. So at the moment, I think where I got up to on the app that I was using to teach myself, I pretty much got up to learning being able to play Frere Jacques with two hands.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, okay, I can just about barely do this. I'm gonna stop now because my
Oh,
hands hurt. And then I just got too busy.
no, that's understandable
Plus,
there.
those apps are
But yeah, like,
expensive.
oh, they so are because it's almost as if it's just it's weird. Guitar you can find ways to learn that are manageable. Piano is almost elitist. Like we will not allow peasants here. Cough up now.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's really, really tricky, man. But
It so is.
it's fun though. I think I think I saw you were learning a bit more. You were learning to play guitar as well. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I me and guitar have a very weird relationship. So I kind of play. I can kind of do things, but not at the level of you guys.
But you
So
enjoy playing it,
I can.
so
No, I enjoy playing it, and I can almost sweep. That's kind of a thing, but
hey,
everything else is just yeah.
I love that when people are like learning to play guitar, especially if they're into like metal and like prog music or whatever, that they can oh, I can do some things, but what I'm really focusing on is just learning how to sweep pick. It's like classic guitar 101 shredder patter. I love it.
No, but one of the things that I realized a long time ago when it came to guitar is, um, and I remember I was having this conversation with somebody at a random house party years ago, and talking about how it's all about at times the mood and what you can bring into the song. Because if we take, for example, one of my favorite guitarists, Joe Frusciante, Red Hot Chili
Yeah.
Peppers is basically just feels. It is technical at points, but it is literally just the feels that he puts in that guitar, and it's just
Oh yeah. It's mostly heroin.
hey, the grungers and those guys, they no longer do that now because, well, it did not end up well for the grungers.
Yeah, to be honest, man, John Frusciante's
Oh,
an awesome guitar player. His solo project stuff, not a big fan, but his work in the Chili's was awesome.
oh, his work in the Chili's is
Yeah,
amazing.
big time.
It is so good.
But yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
things. You're right. It's all about kind of um, like doing what you can to add to the song. I've certainly learned a lot of that over the sort of Tiberius EP1, EP2 stuff uh, into the uh, into the album. Where probably I don't know if anyone's ever listened to our early stuff. There's a lot more widdly shred stuff on it. Like there's like sweeping sections and stuff. And while I use a lot of kind of technical stuff like tapping and all that for lead sections in the song, when it comes to there's like a lot less in sort of emphasis on like guitar solo sections or whatever, and even if they are, they're always a lot more melodic than just like technical ideas. And I
Yeah.
think like and there's a lot more sort of rhythm based stuff as well that I do, as opposed to just like constant just shred whittle stuff, purely because I'm terrible at it, I think. But I think the older I get, the more melodic I want to be, while still doing all the sort of tappy nonsense that I'm getting known for, I guess. But there we are.
Yeah. But I find that it helps, give a band an identity because a lot of people do the shreddy stuff. And if you have that kind of thing that makes you guys stick out, it's shreddy but melodic as well. It gives it this extra spice to things, I would
Oh
imagine.
yeah, for sure, man. Like I sometimes try and throw on those like I don't know if you've ever done it, but like go into YouTube and just search like rock backing track in A minor and just try and like solo over it or whatever. But like see when it comes to like searching for like heavy metal Metallica style backing track in E minor and like I need to try and solo over it, I'm like I don't know how to do this because I just want to play melodic stuff and it doesn't really work over this. They just it kind of just expects constant just shred ideas and like I've just never really been into that. Like I mean I did obviously do the big John Petrucci thing a while ago, but like I'm just not wired like that at all. I'd rather use the technique and the fast stuff as a vehicle in a song for a section, but not as a way of expressing a solo, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that makes sense,
yeah.
man. Totally.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, you just find a thing that works for you. There's a ton of guitarists out there that do the shred thing really well, and you can tell have melody, and you can hear the chord changes through their playing, and yeah, it's phenomenal. But that's just not me.
Yeah, and talking about another guitarist who gave me a very valuable lesson, Tom Morello, who ended up saying, "I realized that I might not be the fastest, or I might not be the like most technical, so I ended up doing my own thing." And by God, does he do his own thing?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean,
Because
he's like one of the most pioneering guitarists of our time for sure,
oh, definitely.
in a completely different way. But I'm a big fan of Tom Morello's like riffs. I think he writes a really good riff, and he knows how to write a verse really well. I find.
Oh yeah, no, he knows his music structure. The man just knows how to make things slap.
Oh yeah, for sure. The guy's a genius.
Yeah, but the whole of Rage though, I wish Rage was still together, but wait, they were supposed to actually play at Reading this year.
Yeah, I
I
think they were
keep
on a
on
bit of a
remembering
reunion thing,
things.
weren't they?
Yeah, I keep on remembering things. I'm like, this year has robbed us of so much music
Oh yeah,
wise.
for sure. Like
Oh, yeah.
tons of just good stuff just didn't happen this year. Did you ever listen to the Prophets of Rage album?
I've listened to some of their songs, but not the actual album itself.
It's so good, man. It's so good. For anyone that hasn't listened or doesn't know what we're talking about, it's that is it Cypress Hill and
I think it's part Cypress Hill, part Public Enemy, and part Rage Against the
yeah,
Machine. I
that's
think
it. Yeah,
it's
it's so good. It's if you're missing that Rage Against the Machine fix, that definitely does it.
talking about stuff like that. System of a Down have a new like couple of songs out.
I haven't listened to them yet.
They are they're actually good. It's sad that they've now had to make music because of the state of the world, but they're actually good.
Yeah, I don't. I feel very conflicted with that because obviously it's David Draymond, the drummer, is like,
Uh, not David Draymond is the guy from
oh,
Disturbed, but yeah, I know who you
sorry, yeah,
mean. Yeah.
like the drummer guy who's like a massive pro-Trump guy, which just
Yep.
it seems incredibly hypocritical and insane that he's still in the band.
Oh yeah. He is on the songs as well. I dread to think what the recording sessions were like, but
Yeah, yeah,
oh
that's
boy.
a very strange dynamic in the band. I don't know how he's been allowed to I don't know how he's been allowed to have those views in that band for so long. It's very strange.
It might be one of those things that they've stuck together for so long. They're just like, he's now like family. We could kick him out, but
Meh.
too much.
I don't know if I don't know if my uncle was bad for press, I'd probably emancipate him from my life.
Well, at least when your uncle listens to this, he will say, "At least I'm safe."
I guess so.
Uh, well, we ended up very much sidetracked. I'm loving this. We keep on just getting super sidetracked with music.
For sure, man.
With me on the geeky stuff, this is just a funny thing that I wanted to say to everyone who is following. I made the stupid decision of starting to play Kingdom Hearts. I've never played the video games before. They are very difficult. Yes, it's a game that's 18 years old now, and I had to go to the easier setting because A, they are very difficult. Plus, also, they have so many games, they rival Metal Gear Solid in terms of entries and story.
Oh, careful now. Oh,
I never thought that was possible.
Metal Gear Solid is very dear to my heart.
Mate, I love Kojima as much as the next guy, but trust me, Kojima's stories make more sense.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes,
Wow.
Kojima's stories make more sense. Like, okay, so from what I can understand, Kingdom Hearts is what happens when somebody ends up saying, I have my own IP, but I also want to end up bringing in Final Fantasy. But I also want to bring in Disney. And then it's going to become a very, very big thing that will probably have 10 games within a decade. Let's see what happens.
Oh yeah, that's there has been many, many, many lines of cocaine done in that boardroom for sure. you know?
The story itself is very heartwarming. It's very nice, but there's so many games. I have to play the easiest setting because I'm on the first game, and it's like this. There's the first game, and then there's Kingdom Hearts 1, there's Kingdom Hearts 2, but in between those, afterwards, they ended up having, I think, 3 more games that end up filling in the gap between those 2 games.
Oh no, it's like Peace Walker all over again.
Yes, pretty much, but with more. So it's like, uh, what do you expect me to do?
That's a lot. Well, I mean, at least you're locked in your house, so you've got time.
I do have time. I mean, I'm working as well, so I have to work, and then after work, that's when I have to play. And so weekends are basically just playing Kingdom Hearts during the weekends and planning for the podcast. That is life, and also reviewing video games when I have time as well. So it's like, yeah, I'm just busy being an uber nerd.
Man, I definitely think that people like us who have all of these extracurricular activities have fared quite well during the lockdown.
Oh yeah, no,
I mean,
definitely,
I'd
yeah.
hate to be one of those people that all they do is like go to the Slug and Lettuce on a Friday night and don't come home till Sunday, or like all they do is watch Love Island or something like that. I think
Love
I think
Love Island did come back though.
did it. Oh,
Yeah,
see, I don't have a television license, so all that stuff just passes me by, which is probably quite good. But
fair enough.
yeah, I definitely feel that like people that have those interests, like music or like video games or special interests, I think we've all survived this fairly well, I would say.
Yeah, no, because you literally just get lost into your stuff. I mean, you can pick an instrument and just say, I want to learn a thing, and then just keep on pushing until you give up. Or do the same with a video
Yeah.
game, or even audiobooks. I made my way through His Dark Materials, all 3 books, like in 2 weeks because
Oh yeah.
I really like. Yeah, they're really good. Philip Pullman is an amazing genius when it comes to writing.
Oh cool.
Yeah,
I'm to be honest with
highly
you, I've
recommend.
never really been big on reading or books. I don't know why. I could never get into it from high school. I think I've always just waited for the film to come out.
That's probably. I mean, the TV show is also good. It's on BBC. You can
All
see
right,
it on
okay,
iPlayer. Go for it. Yeah, no, it's that's what got me into reading it.
cool.
But yeah, I mean, and with you, you're right. Like with me, even before lockdown, a lot of people know that I'm really into my comic books. So I usually read my comic books on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and that's literally my plan for my life. People know Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Joy is reading comic books.
Cool. That's a pretty decent way to go. What are you reading?
So it's usually like the DC, Marvel, and Boom and Valiant imprints, but there's other things that I end up reading in between. So there is this really good one that I started reading called Die, which
Right.
is based in the UK, and it's these 5 friends who they start off as 6 friends who, when they're younger, they end up playing this kind of D&D game where they're sucked into the game, kind of like Jumanji.
Right.
And then when they come out of the game after 2 years, but one of them has disappeared, but they can't talk about what happened. And so they end up being sucked into the game when they're much older. And then we start learning what actually happened in the game itself, what happened to the missing friend, and all of these things. So it's a bit of fantasy, but also everything else in between, which is quite nice. Um, there's also one called The Names, if I'm not mistaken, where this very rich man just ends up saying, I'm about to die and I've just chosen 100 people by random and they're going to get a bit of my wealth. But somebody ends up figuring out that if you kill one of the people, the actual pot of money ends up being divided between the remaining people. So shenanigans begin.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so there is some good stuff out there. And if anybody ever wants recommendations for comics, I am always here to advise.
Have you ever read The Amory Wars, which is the Coheed and Cambria comic book?
I want to try because I fucking love
Yeah, me
Coheed. I
too.
fucking love
Me too.
Coheed. I'm like, we sorry about the microphone shaking there. We saw them at Arctangent
Oh yeah, I
last
was
year,
there.
and for me it was basically just a dream come true. Uh, didn't they play? Was it in Killing Sorrow something? The song titles are very long, and I keep on forgetting
Yeah,
them. But and they finished with Welcome Home as well, and they also played
classic Coheed maneuver that.
it is just classic, and they played some of the uh, is it Dark Sentence or is it the Sentencer from their new album that I've forgotten because I I listened to the album so many times I
Yeah,
keep
so
on
yeah,
forgetting.
they
But
opened with Dark Sentencer. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really remember the set list that well. I don't really remember the set list that well, but yeah, they've been opening with Dark Sentencer at the moment.
yeah, they opened with Dark Sentence and then they ended up playing. I
Hello.
think I could open it. No, I heard you there. I just ended up overtaking because I was like, I know what's happened. Let's just keep on going. But did they play Mother May
All
I
right.
or Mother Superior? I never love that
I
song.
can't remember if I'm honest with you. It was a.
I
I've seen
don't
Coheed
think.
a number of times now. I can never really remember the set list, other than the time they played "Good Apollo" from start to finish at the Coco in Camden. May the Coco rest in peace.
Man, that oh yeah, rest in peace, Coco. But that would have been amazing. I would have absolutely loved
Yeah,
that.
that was
Just
genuinely amazing. It was so good. I mean, it was when London was having its heat wave, which was awful, but the show was incredible.
oh, I imagine because Coheed just I used to not like them because of I think Claudio's vocals take a bit to get used to, but once
I
you're
had the
in.
same problem, man. I think I first heard "A Favor in the House Atlantic" like everybody else did,
Oh yeah.
and I just didn't like it. But then I think again, like a few years later, I gave them another chance, and it was like, yeah, these guys absolutely rip, you know.
Oh no, they are just I I'm always mind blown. They are literally just so amazing and wow, we could just keep on talking about Coheed. I have read some of the comics. They're good, but they're not my kind of thing. But their music, though, see, that's a weird thing. That's what actually got me into Coheed. Now that you mentioned that, so um, I was doing one of my days of just reading comic books, and then I ended up having Coheed and Cambria playing in the background as I read, and it flowed so well and I was like, why have I never tried this before? And then I ended up doing Good Apollo, the whole album, as I was reading my comic books, and I was like, this is just amazing. And then I was fully in because it just works so well, and they have done some amazing stuff. Yeah, so we're slowly getting to the end of the podcast right now. Uh, it was supposed to be about 30 minutes, but now we've almost done an hour. So now I have a quick question for you. What nice words do you have for the tech fam out there?
Um, be safe. Look after yourselves. Wear a mask at all times when you're outside, if you can. Yeah, just stay positive. Take care of yourself. Make sure to check in on each other. Stay hydrated. That kind of thing. I guess just yeah, do what you can to keep you while this is going on.
That's quite nice and sweet, man. Thank you very
It's all
much.
good, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. No, it's all good. But yeah, and I will echo Jahan's sentiments. Be safe, look after each other's, and also on top of that, hope that you're there at Techfest at Home, which is happening this Saturday, and maybe see you guys on the Discord with a beer. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. This has been Joyous Conversations.